Yeah, I think that we just let this play in the background the whole episode and only the Patreons know what's going on. And we just never acknowledge it. And like people are like looking around, just trying to figure out what's going on.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. This is the podcast that's never going to let you down, never going to give you up. And now broadcasting from the Churn, that's Dr. Jim. That's Whitney. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod
Happy
Therapy.
Valentine's Day, lovers. Yes. Nick, what are your Valentine's Day plans?
Nothing.
Not gonna do anything?
Nope.
Wow. What about you, Jacob? What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I'll be out of town.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna.
But SJ and I are on a gig together out of town, so there is that.
For cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
I did see that.
Yeah, so we'll be down in Louisiana for it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yep.
We are doing our traditional Valentine's Day dinner with the kids, which is usually something related to. He cracked first.
Jacob got rid of my card.
No, just damn it. I was willing to go. I don't know if I could have gone a whole hour.
No, I think you would have gone another 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, man, it was hard.
For those of you just tuning in,
Patreon.com/therapy.
Jim got a card and it won't shut off.
It will not shut off. Some asshole, and it's also bombed.
Yeah, it's booby trapped.
Booby
So you
trapped.
can't get to the battery.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we usually do like a fondue. We'll get like fondue for the kids and just do like a little.
Not a fondant.
Not a fondant. We
very
only
accepting.
do the fondue. Have you guys ever had fondue?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I don't know
You
how
ever
I
been
feel
to the
about
melting
it.
pot?
Oh, sure.
No,
Yeah.
the one on Charleston.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's still
Charleston.
there.
It's West Charleston. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's
Yeah.
one still in Vegas or not.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went to the one in Vegas. I think there used to be one in, I don't know, New Orleans or Baton Rouge or something like
Yeah,
that.
Texas
Okay.
is the last
Yeah.
one. That one.
Those are good.
But it's a little fondue spot.
Yeah, I the only fondue I've ever had is with chocolate.
Oh, like dessert fondue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you got like the
With
little
Nick for
slices of
Valentine's
fruit
Day?
and some pound cake and stuff.
That's it.
and it's fine. It's
Some
okay.
chunks of brownie.
I don't care for chocolate. Like
Oh.
melted chocolate on
You can do-
strawberry.
This is
it's
like the
cool.
pineapple conversation.
Yeah.
We just-
You could do
don't
fondue
have to
dessert
eat
with
it.
caramel as well.
Caramel.
Yeah. Caramel. I don't care how you say
I
it.
always say caramel.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheese is always good.
That
cheese fondue.
okay? Because you can
Yeah.
just do that on anything.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's probably
Yeah,
the
you
right
can have
thing to
like meats, different meats and stuff. and
Peter gets
cheese.
irritated. He's like, I gotta. Well, I
do. You
guess.
guys can still hear the card, right?
Yes, I can
Yes,
still hear
yes.
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was like
Yeah.
singing in my head.
I don't know if it's still picking up on the mic.
I think it is.
I doubt it.
I think
I
it
bet
is.
it's not.
No.
Everybody be quiet. Yeah,
Nah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think it is.
Absolutely is.
I don't think so.
Are you with the cheese fondue? It's been so long. Are you cooking it there? Or is the meat's already cooked?
No, the meat's already cooked.
Meat's already cooked, and then
Yeah.
you put it in the cheese.
I can
Well,
see that.
You're not going to cook it in the cheese, right?
Like,
Well,
is
that
there a
takes
little
forever.
like?
Pho?
Is there a little grill
Fondue?
like Korean
It's like
barbecue?
it's like a little heater thing. but yeah, not with the fondue.
Not-
I don't think.
Not the fondue.
No.
Okay.
I don't even remember how that worked.
Whitney,
Anyway,
what are you
it
guys
was a
doing
really
for
good place.
Valentine's Day?
Other than fondue.
We
Or fondling
well, obviously
Fondue.
not, but that's any day
with cheese.
with cheese. And I'm lactose intolerant.
Not even sure how that works.
Don't imagine it. Just pretend like it
Too
never.
level.
Jacob's face. Ugh.
I've already ordered an artist rendering.
No, we don't. We don't celebrate Valentine. That's a
'cause
lie.
you're JWs.
We'll just be like, if we're already going out to eat or something, like, oh, it's around Valentine's Day. Like, we're going to that concert next week, and we're like, oh, that is kind of near Valentine's Day. I'm like, maybe that could be a thing. But
Do you do
like,
gifts?
No,
gifts.
We don't either.
No,
we
us
don't do
either.
gifts for shit. We go take a trip somewhere. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like we'll do. We might do if one of us shows up with like, here's a box of chocolates or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
That's-
cutesy.
That's the most that either of us are going to do, and we rarely do that.
We'll do cards.
Yeah,
I
card.
I think
yeah.
Peter only does that because I would do that. Like my family was big on cards
Oh,
for
yeah.
like everything. My grandma would get me like a Halloween card. It was so cute.
So Peter gets you a nice card with some cash in it.
Obviously,
That's the
only
move.
if I did the fondling.
$2 bill. Yeah. Only if there was
$2
cheesy
bill,
fondling.
yeah.
Thanks again.
But yeah, we'll do cards.
Cheesy fondling.
Episode title.
I was gonna say that's Seafood Sugar Cookie's next album.
Yeah. Cheesy fondling.
Jim, do y'all do Valentine's Day?
We
Or, like,
we do
your
the
daughter
same thing.
or
Yeah,
anything?
we usually do it focus on the kids.
Yeah.
So like, is it Papa Murphy's? They do a heart-shaped pizza.
Aw.
Okay.
So we'll usually do something silly
That's
like
a
that.
take and bake, right?
Yeah. So
I've
it's
never
cute.
eaten there. I'm like, does anyone eat at
It's
Papa
okay.
Murphy's?
It's-
Anyone?
just
I've had it a few
fine.
times. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's some better end pizzas that you can order there. They have like specialty ones and stuffed crust and stuff, and it's nice whenever you know you want pizza, but you definitely would like to be in full control of when you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Then it's
not
nice
like
'cause
hurry
you
home.
Have it. Yeah, you just put it in your fridge, or it wants to like be left out on the counter for a while so the dough can rise. So you can even do
Really?
that for a while. Yeah, and then
Oh
just
my gosh, the
eventually
whole
throw it in
thing.
the oven, and you could.
How
cook
much
two at
does this
once.
uncooked pizza cost?
They're super cheap, and that's what's kind of
like
nice.
how much?
So like
Like $5?
no,
Oh.
like you're talking probably between 5 and 10
Okay.
for a large. And then but I mean like for the specialty ones probably like 13. And so like God, I still hear it, guys.
I know.
Me
I do
too.
too.
It's gonna be the whole
I
time.
know. And here's the thing. I love that song.
I know you do.
Not
I
after
really
tonight.
do.
That was the very first
Send
prank
it home with
in
Nick.
Pod Therapy history. One of the first contests we ever had. I think it may have been trivia based. I don't remember. But the winner got to change the loser's ringtone.
Yeah.
And I won, and I changed your ringtone to this. And
Actually-
the joke was on me.
I won.
Yeah, you ended
The
up
real
winning.
winner.
Yeah.
And the deal was the loser had to keep their phone on ring for a week in the office because we're working at the same office building
Yeah.
at the time. And I would call you just to fuck with you, and you wouldn't answer.
He just listened to it. He's
and
like, oh, it's Jim.
and our offices were right next to each other.
Jim's like,
And our
"Damn it."
doors were always open, and so I'd like walk around the corner like, "Hey, what?" And he'd just be sitting there like bobbing his head, like,
Just like now.
Just gonna-
and you're like, "This is not fun for me anymore."
He sings
Like,
this to Laura
you're
every
ruining-
Valentine's
yeah, I
Day.
know. Every- give you this song. Yeah, I could still absolutely hear it. This
Yep.
is gonna
That's
haunt my
weird.
dreams.
How clearly with the headphones
Well,
on and everything.
And you're gonna have to
Oh,
take it
man.
home with you now too. So
Yes.
you're gonna listen to it the whole way home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like something I'll definitely.
wonder how
Oh,
long
Jacob's doing something. I don't
yeah,
like this.
because he's
I don't
done
like
with this
this.
shit. It's an
I don't like
audio
this.
He's gonna put it
program.
outside. Oh no,
he's
he
probably
already
set it on
locked
fire.
the door.
So anyway, but yeah, so that'll be fun. This year, I actually came up with a cuter idea. I'm wondering if I can say it because, well, my spouse doesn't listen to the show. And the only way that she would hear it, because it goes on Patreon on Valentine's Day. So I think I can say it without her bumping into this.
Just tell her to wait a day and listen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's slightly cute. So I found like a cute card because I was like, let me
It's
grab a
outside
card.
now.
Thank you. Good job.
I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping
I
you
still
hid
hear
it
it.
someplace in his car. Like,
If I had a key to his car, I would have.
Yeah.
Jim,
So-
give me your keys
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
for something unrelated.
So you can open the glitter bomb in there? Fuck you. Jesus Christ.
You go rig it so when you open the door.
So I found I looked up like cute or funny Valentine's Day cards, and I found one with the king from the musical Hamilton.
Okay.
And it says, "I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love." And it just has a cartoon picture of the king. So I was like, "Oh, I'll get that. That's fun." And then I was like, "Huh, I wonder if I could find like little toy British soldiers to put with this gift." And I found them, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "I wonder if I could find a British ship." And I found that too. And so then I glued the soldiers onto the ship, and the card now goes with that. And I put it all in a bag. And I was like, "Ha, that's cute." And I thought, fuck, this is a lot of stuff in a bag that's not really a gift. And is this going to come off pranky? Like, is this cute or is this pranky? Is this weird?
You don't know your wife well enough by now to
I
know how
don't.
she'll perceive it.
I don't get her shit. So I was like, this was like a cute idea, but like now I'm not sure. Did I?
I mean, it's
I
kind
put
of
effort
obnoxious.
into it. Yeah, exactly. Is it?
but what is he gonna do that isn't?
Yeah,
Right.
So then I was like, I guess I need to like buy
I mean,
an
I feel like
actual
cash-
gift. So I
cash
bought
would
her
be fine.
earrings.
Yeah.
So now there's earrings.
Earrings.
In there too.
All right.
Are they British earrings too?
Yeah.
The little
yeah.
Union
Jacks.
Jack.
Yeah.
With the Union
Have to be
Jack.
on
Yeah.
on brand.
Yeah, appropriated from India. Yeah, I made sure. I made sure to get the good stuff. So, I don't know.
Isn't
That's
it funny?
the furthest I've gone in a long time for Valentine's Day.
When you get your spouse something that you're like, this is awesome, or like, this is a fun gift, it's cutesy, all this, but like, yeah, you tell other people and they're like, huh. Like, I had that happen.
She'll chuckle at this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure she will.
Like,
That's great. Yeah.
I remember one year I had started, at the insurance company, so office job. And my coworker that I sat next to every day, we did the same job. I was telling her how excited I was because Peter and I don't do gifts very often. But I saw this one thing that I was just like, oh my gosh, Peter's really going to like this. So I got it and I was telling her I got him the perfect gift. She's like, oh, let me see it. So I brought it up before Christmas and I open it. And it's like it's like a little set, like a clay or stone, whatever set. And it has these people sitting around a campfire, like in the snow with trees and stuff. And then when you turn it on, the flames of the campfire light up.
Oh,
so it's just like cozy and cute.
Yeah.
And he kind of likes those little houses like over Christmas. I don't know. I feel like it's just, we have like one or two.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot, but he just likes that
But
shit.
it matches the things
I know.
he
So I was
likes,
like, it's
so
kind of
there
on
you go.
par with that, but not a house. And so I open it up and I mean, you know, when you can just read someone's like reaction, she was just like, what the fuck? Like, she didn't say that, but you know, she was just like, this is what you got
So
him?
she
like,
shamed you?
basically.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
sucks. Don't yuck my
then
yum.
I felt really insecure. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's going to think this is stupid.
Yeah.
But when I gave it to him, he was like, thought it was the best thing ever. I'm like, all right,
You
we're
gotta
good.
trust your instincts.
Go with your gut.
Yeah, you've been married for a while. It's like,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
you don't know us. Like,
You don't
same
know
thing
me.
with this one. Like, she likes Hamilton. I'm sure that she'll be like, ha, you put little soldiers on
You're
a boat.
adorbs, she'll say.
Cool. Thanks for the earrings.
Thanks for your
Yeah. So anyway,
Cute.
happy Valentine's Day, Patreon community, and happy day after Valentine's Day, regular people
Yeah.
who don't sponsor the show. Go to patreon.com/therapy and you'll get your holiday greetings on time, the way you should. And you can also hear the wonderful pre-show that we did. It was a good time. You can hear all about Las Vegas Super Bowl life from those who lived it.
Yeah.
Real heroes.
Yeah.
On
We're
the
the ones.
outskirts.
Yeah. Tell you about the streets. It was really like to survive.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I left my house yesterday.
Oh, that's just a great
Rightfully
decision.
so.
Yeah.
That is a great
I think all
decision.
Super Bowl Sunday, I just sat in my house.
I walked out to the street when I heard a firework go off around the corner. I was like, the hell?
So I want to get
Oh yeah,
to the,
we went outside to during the national anthem.
Oh,
So we saw
to see
the
the
fireworks
Salute
go
the
off
flag.
the top of the Allegiant
Oh,
Stadium,
cool.
and we saw the Thunderbirds go over.
Yeah,
Oh,
very cool.
what? I
Yeah.
didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
Well, we especially knew that they were going to do that because I think it was the day before, or maybe 2 days before, something like that. A
They were
couple days before the
practicing.
Super Bowl, they did a practice loop,
Wow.
and they went directly over our house
That was loud.
at like 8:30 in the morning.
Wow.
We were asleep.
Oh,
You're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Thanks for the wake.
Like stuck my head out the back door and I was like, it was the Thunderbirds.
shaking your fist at the
The
sky.
Thundercats.
Damn you, Maverick! Buzzing the tower.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy holidays to everybody. Happy post Super Bowl to everybody, and hope that you had a holly jolly one. We are getting to some great questions today. The first one: seasonal affective disorder from Top Secret Name. Hello, Whitney and the boys. Thank you for everything.
And the boys.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you for everything that you do in order to destigmatize mental health. I found you guys on the Reddit AMA a few years back now, and you've really helped me get words on things that I could not express before, so thank you. Side note, as a fellow sound engineer, I appreciate the intense patience that must be necessary from Jacob to even entertain the idea of running the show weekly, given the woes and general gymness. So, hats off to you, sir.
Thank you.
Go listen to the Patreon.
How do you do
then.
what you do?
The
And that's the end of the show. That's all the time we
That
have.
Thank
is
you.
all the time. We're done. Finally, somebody acknowledged it.
That's all I've been waiting for.
On to the question. I am a 29-year-old man from Sweden. That's IKEA, not chocolate and watches, Jim.
Good.
I have been struggling. Thank you, honestly.
Smart.
I would not know the difference, and that really helped me, actually. I have been struggling with seasonal depression for at least
Jim, what's the
last-
country with chocolate and watches?
Oh, fuck. This one's Sweden.
It's not Sweden.
Is it Germany?
Why would
I mean, that's
I know,
you're
I'm
not
totally
you're not
wrong,
wrong,
but-
but that's not what our friend here was referring to.
Is it Belgium?
Now, there's
Oh
another
my
country that
gosh.
sounds somewhat similar to Sweden.
Finland?
Okay. Switzer.
Oh, that one. Swaziland.
Swiss chocolate.
South Africa.
That's it.
I have been struggling with seasonal depression for at least the last 12 years. That is as far back as I can remember a distinct difference in the mood over the winter period. But let's just say it's for the majority of my life. Gradually over the years, each winter has taken me lower and lower down. Last year, I went on SSRI medication, sertraline to be specific, and for the most part, I thought I was doing better, until just recently. However, the last weekend has been dreadful. I've contemplated taking my own life several times, and last night I cut myself in my arm several times for the first time. Not deep at all, but my soul just hurt so much, and I didn't feel worth anything. I've gone through an extended breakup in the last 2 years, coming out of the end of a messy 5-year relationship. I've always struggled with forming intimate and sexual relationships, instead often forming very strong and meaningful friendships with my female friends. This is all fine until recently when I completely and utterly fell in love with one of my friends. In itself, this isn't an issue, but I've spent the last year kind of tiptoeing around her, just waiting, hoping that something might happen, but never really daring to make the move from fear of rejection. Now she has a boyfriend, and it was as if my whole world came crashing down all at once. Not necessarily because of her relationship, as I'm very happy for her, but more so because I feel so stupid and unworthy of any love. I feel a burning self-hate for not just telling her earlier. At least then I would have been in control. This is not the first time this has happened either in my life, where I've just not taken action and waited for life to happen to me instead of making life happen. I've got a good support network, but I'm scared of being too much to everyone. I feel so alone and scared that my thoughts have gotten to this point. I feel like I cannot tell anyone in my friend group how I feel about my friend, because then things would change. I don't know if that even makes any sense, but I'm not sure if any of this rambling does make sense, to be honest. I feel like I sound like a teenager, filled with silly hormones. On to my questions. Question number 1. Is it common for SAD, seasonal affective disorder, symptoms to get worse over time? Question number 2. Do you have any advice for how to become more assertive and confident in taking action in accordance to your wants and feelings, especially when it comes to relationships? Question number 3. How can I approach my support network with these intense feelings without overwhelming people and pushing them away? I'm scared and worried for myself. It's never been this bad before. Sorry for the long message. My pronouns are he and him. All my love and well wishes. Signed, Top Secret Name.
Okay.
Secret agent man. Secret agent man. He wrote us a letter into the show, and we're going to answer it if we can.
And took away his name.
First of all, I think talking about the cutting on the arm.
Yeah, let's start.
That seems like a good spot for you guys to start.
Yeah. Sounds like that was very recent, depending on how long our queue is, according to Nick.
This is from 21.
And I'm so sorry that you were feeling in such a low place that felt like where you had to go. And I don't think you're alone there. I think that is unfortunately really common when we're talking about depression. You mentioned having a good support system, but not wanting to overwhelm them. And I wonder if there are things happening that you can recognize before you get to a point of self-harm that you could reach out to one of your support people to kind of, you don't even have to tell them specifics, but just say, hey, can we hang out? I'm
feeling with
lonely.
Some shit. I'd love to hang out right now.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to talk about anything, but I'd love to just hang.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you feel like you need, because I know you don't share a lot about what's going on in those moments before, but
sorry. Let me turn my ringer off here.
You've just been responsible for all the noise this show.
Nick coming in hot.
When it rains, it pours.
So yeah, that's something that I would just say to start with. But getting to a point of self-harm, that's, in my opinion, kind of serious. It's very different than, I want to point that out, it's very different than something like a suicide attempt. And I want to make that clear for anyone listening that self-harm is different than attempting to end your life. And so that's why I'm treating it a little bit differently. It may seem like it's not enough to just say, oh, reach out to a friend if you're feeling like harming yourself. But it really just depends on your situation, Ryder. And that's just one angle.
I'm glad we're starting with that, because that is something we've talked about a little bit on the show in the past.
Okay.
There is some misconceptions about self-harm, whereas a lot of people do see it as suicidal or pre-suicidal behavior.
Yeah.
And really most therapists kind of approach it from, it's sort of a self-soothing technique and almost a form of self-medication.
Like a release?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. And most people that have gone through that will explain that they had this strong emotion they didn't know what to do with, and they almost felt like they could turn it into the physical sensation, and they knew what to do with that. You know, that pain is normal to them. They know what to do with that. And then they feel like they're processing it.
Especially wanting control, mentioning that.
Yeah. Now I'm doing the thing. I'm choosing when it happens and when it doesn't.
If I'm going to hurt, I'm going to be responsible for that hurt.
Yeah. And so really quick on that point, Ryder, and to anybody out there that struggles with this, one of the things that I like to go over with patients that do this is alternatives to self-harm. And so if you just Google that, there are so many great lists out there, and there's a lot of great ideas. A lot of them are sensation-based.
This is the stuff like the ice cubes and the rubber bands and that kind of
the
stuff.
ice cube, the rubber band.
Yeah.
Draw a boiling hot bath. I mean, as hot as you can stand it.
Yeah.
And get in there. And you know, you're experiencing fundamentally the same thing. You're activating the same nerve system and the same pain receptors that you're kind of having that desire for, but without any scarring, without any potential damage.
Side note, we just got a new hot water heater,
and
it can go up hot enough. It's digital, so I can control it.
Okay.
But it can go up hot enough where it's like you will harm yourself.
Oh, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Why do I have this option?
Yeah.
Like it can go up so hot because it's connected to an app on my phone.
Boiled chicken.
Yeah, it'll go up to like 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
No,
What?
humans should not.
In your bath
stew.
while you're bathing,
That's
the
human
chicken's in it.
stew. That is not a
Maybe
good
it's not
idea.
that number, but it was whatever the number is. It's like it's hot enough that it's like, why do I have this option?
Yeah, that is not good.
Anyway, but yeah,
look
what you're
into
talking
that.
about,
Don't do that.
yeah, don't do that.
Go bathe at Jacob's house.
Yeah.
'cause
Right.
Apparently that's.
Oh no,
built
you
for
can
that. Yeah.
because I have mine set at a lower temperature.
Yeah. No, it's safe. It's now safe for human use.
It's a good temperature.
Yeah, but we do want to just bring that up because, in one hand, I think I don't want to say want to normalize self-harm, but contextualize it and educate. And we want people to understand it accurately and probably what Top Secret Name is talking about. But also, Top Secret, boy, do we not want that to be the way that you're coping.
Yeah.
Though we do understand it as therapists, we always try to direct you toward better alternatives and better coping skills. So we want to acknowledge you while also directing you in the right path. Seasonal affective disorder, I think, is a really interesting reality.
Yeah.
It is definitely a heavy one, and I've struggled with it for years. It's something that some seasons it really hits me, sometimes it doesn't. Starting in teenage years, it was crushing. And my mom, when I got married, I remember one year she just mentioned it to my spouse, because my spouse said something like, yeah, he always seems different this time of year. My mom looked right at her and was like, yeah, in October, right? And she's like, yes. She's like, yeah, he does that every year. He's got SAD. And it was like, even I was like, wait, I do? Like, how long have you known about this? She's like, yeah, no, we had you diagnosed like a long time ago. So
You got it that first time you went to a prostitute.
Yeah, right. That's
Sad.
right. In Amsterdam. So, another thing, though, is whenever you live in these higher latitudes, this is much more of a reality across the world. And I assume that Sweden is probably north of the equator or south. It's certainly not equatorial.
Probably not on the equator.
50-50 shot.
I feel good about it. You know what? I'm going all in on north.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, it's a globe. If you keep going, you're going to
It's
get to it eventually.
It's all north at some point.
Yeah.
But no, if you're up in those regions, the seasonal affective disorder is much stronger. And there are a lot of approaches to this. And we've had writers in the past write to us from Alaska and in Canada. And we've talked about light boxes and light therapy as an
Oh, yeah.
alternative to this. And that's been a really helpful solution. Writer, top secret, if you've never looked into light boxes and light treatments, that is really helpful for a lot of people that live in those latitude regions, especially if they're dealing with SAD. I love that you discovered and took the step of taking an SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor of sertraline. That is usually the treatment that a lot of psychiatrists are going to want you to take. And I do probably agree with your suspicion that it probably was helping. Your observation in your letter is, gosh, it really seemed like it was working. And then I got my heart broken.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't seem like it's working.
And then you got piled on a little bit.
Right. And so I want to appreciate, Ryder, that the sertraline is only going to be able to do so much, right? What we usually say is that the medicine makes it a fair fight. And that's probably how it was. And then you're going through situationally a really difficult thing. And, you know, some of your questions are about how can I try to speak up? You know, how can I kind of assert myself in life rather than being passive? And we definitely want to advise on that too, but I just want to respect that while I do think that you, of course, have a history of SAD, and I love that you've gone through some treatment for it, and I want to be encouraging and suspect with you that that treatment probably was doing something, and I sure hope you haven't given up on it. I sure hope you're being compliant with the prescriptions that your doctor has given you, but I hope that you'll supplement it with things like light therapy, and when we're feeling those tremendous dips in emotion, that we're exploring things like alternatives to self-harm, and really I would encourage you to do some work in cognitive behavioral therapy as well, really taking on those distorted thinkings, where you're talking about things like worthlessness and seeing and misperceiving that your friend developed an attraction to somebody else and didn't sense that there was, you know, any connection between the two of you, as a rejection of you or as a valuation of you as worthless. Boy, do I not think that's accurate. And I don't know that that lines up with your experiences at all. I really hope that's something you'll take a look at.
It's also a little bit of confirmation bias, too. So if you already feel that way, then you're going to look for things that support an existing belief. People don't naturally look for things that disprove their belief.
Sure.
So, I would agree with that. I think that's, and as far as like, what actions should you take right now? I don't think it'd be a great idea to take a whole lot of action until you've actually talked to your therapist about this. And because, you know, like, I want you to have some coping skills, and I want you to have some way of like some outlets available to you. You know, like if you're going to approach your friend group or you're going to approach this female and express how you feel, we need to have some coping skills in advance before you take that step.
Good call.
Well, you're asking someone to change their relationship with you.
Sure.
You're asking someone, like, by announcing your feelings to someone, by announcing romantic feelings to someone, what you're in essence doing is asking them to change the way they look at you.
Sure.
Or at the very least, change the way that they relate with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a really good conversation to have with your therapist first.
Yes.
Before getting into that, because you're also, like you mentioned, you're asking your friend group to also change the way that they look at the two of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
More
it's such a
dynamics.
high risk reality. I mean, let's face it, like whenever you're in these friend groups, especially at this age range, everybody
What was
could
the age range?
potentially 20s,
29.
Right.
I think. And so, like, you know, you everybody's a potential partner, everybody's a potential friend, and those relationships are being negotiated all the time.
Right.
And then you're meeting new people because so and so's hosting a thing at their house, and we're all going to play Parcheesi, and it's like, oh, now I'm meeting friend of a friend of a friend, and where do I place them in the spectrum of, like, am I attracted to them? Are they attracted to me? Are they available? And so much of this has to do with timing too. Because the closer you get with your friend group, there are people that you're going to develop a bond with. You think, man, if they were single right now, that would be great. But they're not, right? And then that
So now
becomes
we're buddies.
It does become that. And there's a whole nother aspect to this, which, again, I agree with Jacob. If you can get access to a therapist or even your prescriber to talk about this kind of stuff.
And I was already agreeing with Nick, so that's like a three-way agreeal right
I think
there.
a three-way is where we're going to end that. I think we're just, we're having a three-way right now. This is what
It's
it feels
Valentine's.
like. It's nice.
It's not gay if it's in a three-way.
That's right. No, it doesn't count because they cancel each other out. It's double negatives.
In that sentence, what is the word "they" referring to?
The three
They
dudes?
cancel each other. They cancel each other out.
The three guys are all canceling each other out.
Interesting.
That's math, Jake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just That's why I'm asking the questions.
But I do think this is a good thing to talk about, because if your friend is in a relationship and you care for her and you're like, dang it, I have feelings for her, it's a really sticky move to announce that while she's in a relationship, right?
Yeah, because like, what is the expectation?
What
kind
can
of unfair.
she do about exactly? That's the way I look at it. Is, man, that's really tough, because you're A, very unlikely to get an outcome you really like. B, if you get the outcome you like, it's gonna be dramatic, and there could be some lingering weirdness about like you
I don't
caused me
think
to
he
break
said
up
he
with
was
my.
gonna talk to her.
Yeah, I don't think he said he was going to like profess
No.
his love.
I don't hear him asking,
He
should
was-
I do that? I mean, I'm just saying,
saying, how
he's
do I be
feeling
more-
regret about it, and now he's talking about, do I tell my friends how I feel about her? And I'm saying,
the friends,
maybe
yeah.
that isn't, now's not the time to really
I don't know
experiment
of a
with that.
reason to talk about that. If you're not going to talk to her about that,
Yeah.
that seems like an odd play. I don't know, though. I'm saying it out loud.
Well, if you're seeking comfort and you're like,
Right.
look, I'm hurting. People don't know why I'm hurting. I want to tell them that I'm going through this, but I also want to give them the context. They don't just think I'm
Right.
dealing with SAD, but that could, be messy with my relationships.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
appreciate the
Yeah.
difficulty of that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hard thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I like Nick's advice when it comes to being more. I guess they asked, do you have any advice on being more assertive and confident in taking action in accordance with your wants and feelings, especially when it comes to relationships? And I like that question because I think almost everyone wants to know that. It's very scary and intimidating due to the fear of rejection, but I do like what you shared just for this writer and the situation they're in and the emotions they're dealing with, talking to someone before, like, how do I accept that rejection and manage that if it does go that way, when you're talking about professing feelings toward somebody.
If it's, go ahead.
I was going to say, I also think that question that's a big long-term process.
Oh, yeah.
Working towards that. I do think step one is definitely
Cut a hole in a box.
let's get some healthy coping skills so that, we always want to make sure, like, there's a saying that I like. I actually got it from a poster, but it was
Hang in there.
No,
Oh my God, you both.
it was
Right there.
and
There was a cat on the poster.
Profound.
I've mentioned it on this show before, but
Look at
it
it every
was
day.
actually
It is
from
hanging
despair.com. It was the company that made the posters that made
Yeah.
fun of those posters.
Those poses.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and
Even
so
better.
it was a guy skiing down a mountain and there's an avalanche coming behind him.
Yeah.
And it was, before you plan on beating the odds, make sure you can survive the odds beating you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Solid.
and it's great advice. Like,
Yeah, that is.
before you plan on, like, I'm gonna do this, you have to have coping skills in place in
case you
case it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. So that, I think, is step one. But step two, like, this is a long-term thing about just becoming assertive and kind of going after what you want in life. And I think, my advice on that is to start small. Start with really small things, like, we're going to go out to eat. Well, I'm going to be assertive about my opinion about where we're going to go out to eat.
Applebee's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steaks are really small.
Swedish Applebee's.
Haagen-Dazs, I believe is what
IKEA.
that's called.
Yeah, I mean, start
We're
with
going to eat the meatballs at IKEA.
Oh,
Let's
that's right.
go.
It's IKEA.
start with the really small things and then just continue to work up. And as you practice assertiveness with smaller issues, then I think you become more comfortable with being more assertive in the bigger things.
That's interesting because that is almost exactly what I was going to say, but coming at it from a different angle.
Okay.
Life coach Nick.
Because what I was going to say is being more assertive and being more direct doesn't start at this moment.
Yes.
It doesn't start at giant pivotal moments.
Good
So
point.
the reason that you're looking around, I'm putting words in your mouth here, so if this does not pertain to you, ignore it. But my guess is that you're looking around and you're seeing other people that you interact with that are more assertive and direct than you perceive yourself to be, and you would like to be more in that camp than the camp that you're in right now. I'm betting that's a fair assumption on my part. Those people aren't just assertive and direct when it's time to profess romantic feelings to someone. They are that direct all the time. So before those feelings develop into this big unrequited love that, like, I want to tell this person about it, and man, I want to tell my friends about it, and I want to do all this stuff. This started months and months ago, years possibly, of not saying, like, hey, friend who I might have some romantic feelings for, do you want to go get a coffee? I'm interested in kind of exploring this a little bit more. Are you interested in seeing if this can develop? That's where that assertiveness starts, is way back there when it is still a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It doesn't just begin, everything's at a 10 and now I'm going to be assertive. It's like, no, everything's at a 1.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let you know, like, hey,
I like that.
Here's kind of where I'm at.
Graduated approach. Because honestly, I think whenever you're feeling stuck on this, there is this myth that we start to believe, I think based on a lot of television, because television and movies simplify plot lines because they don't have 3 months of the friendship to show you how romance really develops.
They have 22 minutes.
Exactly. So their plot line is met the girl.
And there's 3 other things happening in that 22 minutes.
We were friends, and then I just busted out a ring, and she's like, oh my God, I totally had feelings for you the whole time. And you're like, wow, it totally worked out. Like I think was it Love Actually, where
I love that movie.
I guess I'm only talking to Whitney on this.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Go on.
Yep.
There was a movie that I think was Valentine's Day based, and it followed like several relationships that were all
Valentine's Day?
slightly related. What did I say?
You said Love Actually, but there is a movie called Valentine's Day.
That might be it. That might be it. I remember Bill Burr was in it. He's one of the love interests, and the girl that likes
Bill Burr?
him. Yeah, I know, random. But like no. Yeah, I think it is Bill Burr. Oh man, I don't know.
Maybe it was Bill Clinton.
No,
It might have
it's
been
probably
Clinton.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
A guy that
Bill
reminds me of
Cosby.
Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Jim.
Anyway, the movie follows all
One of
these
those
different
Bills.
relationships.
It's Nathan Lane.
And one of them is this girl likes this guy, and she's like hanging out with him, palling around with him, trying to hang out with him all the time. And he's like going to throw this house party, and she kind of tries to like pretend that she's his girlfriend at this party.
He's
like,
just not that into you.
is that it?
That's the movie.
That's the one.
I've heard that name.
God, you have this.
I haven't seen the
Rolodex
movie, but I've
knowledge.
Yeah.
definitely heard the name.
and like
Rom-coms.
they're at the
Yeah.
party or whatever, and she's like
She's
acting like the
getting
hostess.
beers for everyone.
Yeah, and
collecting
everybody's like,
them.
she's great. And
Yeah.
how long you been together? And she's like acting like that's
Yeah.
true. And then he
Stays
kind of
till the
catches
end.
on, and he's like,
Justin Long.
"We're not a thing. Like, what are you doing? We're friends."
Yeah.
So I think that movies and plots don't do a good job of showing what really happens in the real world. I agree with kind of the gradated approach that Nick's talking about. If you have a girl that's in the friend group that you like, I think that you don't just come and say, I have feelings for you, I've had feelings for you forever. I think you nudge in that direction if she's available by saying things like, hey, I was thinking you and I should just go out and get a coffee someday. Would you be comfortable with that? Or would that sound good to you? Yeah. And if you start getting green lights of like, yeah, we can hang out one-on-one, that's just where you start. And like, you just see what the connection's like when your friends aren't all around and it's just the two of you. And you say, that was nice. We should just get, you want to go get dinner sometime? Like you slowly offer that nudge. That is assertiveness.
Yeah.
Now, here's the move I did.
and
if
also-
you want to know my tricks.
I'm just gonna give a
dating
one
advice
age.
from
I got some
Jim.
game. I'll give
one
you,
age
I'll
to
give you
Jim
my
here.
tips.
Yeah, it is. It's like, you want to go get some dinner? Oh yeah, you want to get the other folks together and go get some dinner? No. I'm thinking just the two of us.
How would you? Yeah, would that be okay?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
like, you don't have to be more assertive than that.
Nope.
That's pretty assertive already.
My move was girl in the Bible study, because that's how you did it back in the day. That's where the hunting grounds were.
Yep.
Glad I missed that.
Bible
those
study.
Not
days.
just for Jim.
She was like,
Jim and priests.
hey, has anybody taken the history of rock and roll class? I was like, I've taken the history of rock and roll class. And she's like, that book is
Christian rock and roll.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This was at UNLV. This was so she's like,
And if I can't swim after 40 days.
do you remember
Oh my God,
what
jars
was that
of clay.
band called when my mom was
That's
here?
all I got, by the
We
way, on that.
discovered like Christian bands. It was like Lust
Yeah.
Patrol or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lust
man.
Patrol.
That was,
Yeah.
that was what it was. Something like that.
It's one of the
Yeah.
ski
Lust
patrol
Control,
sequels.
I think.
Snow Patrol.
Yeah, it's the Snow Patrol knockoff. It's called Lust Patrol. Anyway, my move was, she was like, has anybody taken this class? It's like a $200 textbook. I was like, yeah, I've taken it. I have the book. And she was like, oh my God, can I get that book? And I was like, yeah, if you take me out on a date, you can have the book. She's like, fuck. All right.
She's like, hell no.
So she did it. She's like, took
Oh.
me out to coffee, and I accidentally forgot the book. And now we're married 17 years. I still haven't given her that
Did
book.
she spill
That's how that
coffee on
happened?
you?
That's how that happened.
So
Jim's got game.
So as soon as she gets this book, she's out.
Yeah, I know. I've buried that thing in the desert, my man. But she is cheap. She can't graduate college. She's one fucking class.
You realize that book is now a great anniversary present.
Oh,
That's a
look at
nickel's worth of free advice right there, buddy.
whoa! I just got life coach.
Yeah, you did.
That was epic. Oh my god.
That's a fucking like 20-year anniversary
That
present.
is shit. I need to set a reminder right now. Yeah, you guys go on with the answers. I'm gonna do this now.
Oh my gosh. What about, is it common for sad symptoms to get worse over time?
Okay, so this is interesting. So I believe the prevalence rates go up over time, over age, but I don't know as if symptom intensity or if that goes up over time.
I don't either.
I'm not familiar with that.
heard of that either.
Symptom severity, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I'm also licensed in Oregon, so probably almost half my
drive?
clients. Yeah.
Oh, they're getting a lot of that then.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is tricky. And one client, it was actually interesting. They were in one city in Oregon and they moved to a different city that has different weather because there is different weather patterns throughout Oregon. And just having more sunshine, like we started meeting together because of those sad symptoms last winter, and we just are getting through now the second winter, and she lives somewhere else. I actually just recently kind of checked in on them, like, what's going on? How are you feeling? And they were like, yeah, it does help just having more sun. Like, I mean, it sounds silly, but I just go back to some of the suggestions earlier. You may just need like the light therapy, the whatever else you need. Take a vacation. Try and plan a sunny vacation for a week. I mean, I think Sweden has good vacation laws, right? Like, they're one of those good countries.
Yeah. You mean not America?
Yeah.
Right.
Anything but America. I think you have vacation days. I would use some of those then.
Go to Spain.
That's what I was gonna say, Portugal or something.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. But yeah, I think trying to. I've just never heard of them getting worse over time. It does seem like this may be situational almost more than anything, but only you'll know, Ryder, if you're like, nope, every year I've scaled it. I know this is worse.
25 days of annual mandatory leave in Sweden.
Ooh, mandatory leave.
You got to take 25 days off a year.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Lastly, I guess the last thing that I would say, kind of with question 3, as we're talking about how do I approach my support network, if we're talking, forget about, we already kind of addressed the feelings for the female friend. If we're talking about approaching your support system, your friends regarding the depression, or seasonal affective disorder, with that, I think you may be thinking too hard about this as far as like pushing them away. And I think this happens most often. It happens a lot with, I think, a lot of people where they feel like if I talk to my friend group about this, I'm going to overwhelm them.
Yeah.
That's very unlikely. I think that people always seem to feel like they're more of a burden than they really are. I think
your issue here is not so beyond the pale
exactly
that people don't understand it.
Yes. Yeah. And plus, I mean, they live in the same country too.
Yeah,
it's
I was thinking that.
It's quite likely that they either are dealing with it themselves or have other friends or family members or people they're close to who are also dealing with it.
They understand this.
Yeah, this is not the first time they've ever heard this. So please use your support system. Reach out to them, talk to them. Let them know.
I mean,
how
I'll tell you what, this winter, like, I've been feeling down this winter. And it's absolutely
It is a
like,
mild
like
winter.
Vegas has been, but it's been dark.
It has
Yes.
been.
It has been dark
Vegas-
all winter long in Vegas.
Yeah.
And like that, it is definitely like I've noticed it hitting me this
Yeah.
winter.
I notice that when I go back to Iowa in the winter.
Yeah.
Because it's always gray,
Ugh,
and it's
yeah.
overcast all the time.
Yeah.
And it just gets depressing. I love living in Vegas just for that reason. 300
That's true.
plus
It's not
days
gray.
of sunlight.
But it
That's
gets
right.
dark. So what time does it get dark in Iowa? Like
Oh,
in
in
the
the summertime?
In the winter.
Oh, in the winter, about
I guess it's pretty
4:15,
far north.
4:30
Yeah, it's the
ish.
same.
Yeah, it's
See, I'm used to like in Texas. It'll even in the wintertime, and probably Louisiana too. It's not 4:30.
It doesn't
get
dark so early.
well. I mean, in the summertime, in Iowa, it doesn't get dark until like 9:30,
That's
9:45.
crazy.
Right.
You know, it's like yeah.
That's wild.
And of course, to the writer and anybody else listening, if you are doing self-harm or anything else, if you feel like it's getting to a point where you need to arrest that, then call your emergency services. And in Sweden, that number is 112.
There it is.
There you go. Thank you,
Ooh.
Jacob.
And if you're looking
112.
for the suicide hotline in Sweden, that number is 90101, or go to mind.se. So there's always going to be some kind of community support, but top secret name, thank you for writing in. So many people relate to you. SAD is a very common thing. And, you know, because it's episodic, a lot of people get this idea that it just isn't as serious as what we might call typical major depressive disorder. But it is. And the experience can be daunting and really discouraging to routinely go through that every year. And especially for all of us that are celebrating our holidays around that time, or God forbid your birthday. It's a shitty thing, you know?
It's fine to have a birthday around there.
No, you move it to July 1st. That's the move. 'Cause you know what? Damn it.
You can either move it or you can keep talking about it, but you can't do both.
All right,
Fucking pick one, Jobin.
He's just right.
Pick a lane.
He's just right. God damn, I'm getting coached all day. Top secret, thank you for this question. We're rooting for you, my friend. And please, if you're not already part of the Discord community, that's a great place to also just vent and share, especially if you feel like you can't open up to your own friend group. We have a really great digital community, and people just get it, and they're there for each other and celebrating with each other. And there's a lot of great threads in there where you can kind of just chart what you're doing right and getting advice. I think that's also a really great idea. So anyway, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about cosmetic surgery and disordered eating. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Smitty Scoop, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Mason Miller, Tess Miller, Byler T, Harris, Team Monaco, Oscar Swanros, and Hannah Marie. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Okay, this week's theme in honor of our therapy producers is Cameo. So,
The
familiar
band?
with the website.
Oh, that thing that we hired Dr. Drew through?
We did not. You hired Dr. Drew through.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Didn't say thanks. Anyway, Price is Right rules. Closest without going over. I will give you the name of the individual, the
Ooh.
celebrity,
Okay.
and then you have to tell me how much they are charging for a cameo.
All right.
And a cameo is like 30 seconds.
That's their little video.
It's anywhere 30 seconds up to a minute.
Okay. And they
For
pop
some of them
on,
up to like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They might just say, hey, just a happy birthday from
Yeah.
so-and-so. Wishing you
Okay.
well.
First one. We'll go 5 for this break. First one, Chuck Norris.
Oh, wow. That's got to be pricey. That's pricey.
Closest without going over.
For one cut,
Here,
one cameo.
we're gonna start with Jacob. We'll go
start
clockwise.
with him because he's an asshole.
All
and he
right.
always
Yeah.
beats us
$35.
by a buck.
Okay, $35.
Without going over
Oh, boy.
$65.
Oh, wow. $100.
I think I'm winning this one.
Yeah.
No, it is $450.
Wow.
You don't know
for
how much
Chuck
I paid for
Norris.
Dr. Phil. This is
Dr. Drew.
Wow.
Dr.
No, thank you.
$450.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Whitney's up first on this
Cameo
one.
needs to start publishing how many cameos are purchased per person.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a number that's like, I don't want to do these, but I'll do it if you pay me this much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hall of Fame quarterback Randall Cunningham.
Never heard of him.
What?
Played for the
$5.
Played for
no.
UNLV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Was a
didn't he?
preacher in Vegas for a while. Might still
Yeah.
be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But preached at like a mega church in Vegas for a while.
$20.
Okay.
$100.
$21.
$100.
Wow. All right.
Oh, bonus points for nailing it.
Okay.
Jim's doing it.
You're up first.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Actor Patrick Duffy.
Oh,
He
from
was-
Boondock Saints?
Dallas. No.
The guy from Step by Step.
Yep. Dallas and Step by Step.
Like the show Step by Step?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the
Step
dad, I
by
believe.
step.
Oh,
Day by day.
That guy.
Fresh
Okay.
start. Okay.
Different every way. The second time around.
Okay,
That's where you
got-
say a number, Jim.
I think you could get him to go for $75.
Oh, I'm a little lower than that. I think I'm gonna be at 45.
Dallas is what's going to boost that number, though.
Closest without.
I don't love this guess.
What did you guess? 45?
He's at 75. I'm at 45.
46.
Yep.
75.
Shit!
Guys, I'm really good at this.
Got Rain Man
I'm like
over
fucking
here.
Rain Man of Cameo.
All right.
Wow.
All right,
All
Jacob.
right.
I don't think I have any points.
No, we
Jim's-
don't. No one
Jim's
does.
got
Jim's
them all.
got them all.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have one? I thought you had
No.
one. Oh, Jim has 3.
Yes.
Jeez.
Okay. Former professional golfer John Daly.
Oh my God.
Wow. This is either going to be like $12,000
He's
Yeah.
going to want
Or
a
$1.50.
lot of money.
Oh my God.
I'll say 250.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels healthy.
I'm
He's got to support that party
500.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you say?
500.
I'm going to come in under. I think I'm going to say 200.
Okay.
Okay. Whitney is on the board. $800.
Oh, I was gonna guess 1,000. I'm glad I didn't. All right. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
Wow. Good
I
job.
know
Okay.
that crazy man.
All right. Last one for this break.
Oh, I need to get on the board.
Come on.
Whitney gets to go
Okay.
first. Kate Flaherty, Meredith from The Office.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
That's
If
a
you're
good
like
one.
an Office fan, you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone else would be like, no.
I mean, that's true of every single celebrity.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know who's
If
one of
you're
the
a fan
I
of
don't know.
that
Chuck
person.
Norris?
No, if you're a fan of
Everyone's-
Chuck Norris, that means something.
Yeah.
No,
If you're not,
who's not a fan of
One
Chuck
of the
Norris
biggest
is what I'm
successes
saying.
in Cameo is Kevin from The Office.
Oh,
yeah,
bet.
yeah.
He's
okay.
crushing it.
Well, dang. Okay, Meredith from The Office. I'm going to say $100.
okay.
I'll go $150.
Oh, man.
We put you in a hard
I think it's
spot.
just right in that neighborhood
Uh-huh.
too. At 100, man, I wish you'd gone lower than 100.
You can say 101.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 101.
Okay.
Take the
This
middle.
one goes to Jim again. 190.
Oh,
Damn.
baby. Wow, I got 3 on this one, huh?
Four.
Yeah.
3 out
I
of the
think you
5?
got 4.
Four
No, you
out
got
of
4.
five.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Can't even tell.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I'm not good at counting, but I'm good at guessing
Yeah.
random numbers.
Yeah.
Good job.
There's a
Jim.
lot of stuff you're not good at.
This is true.
is
Cosmetic
one of
surgery.
And I'm not good at counting all the stuff you're not good at.
I've lost count. Cosmetic surgery and disordered eating from Anonymous.
True.
Hi there,
We're past the quiz part.
therapists. I'd like to get y'all's take on the issue of body image. I struggled with exercise bulimia for many years, always trying to get my body to look a certain way, trying to maintain control over my food, etc. I'm finally in recovery, hooray! And my feelings about food are more neutral and my weight has stabilized. But I hate the body I'm in now. I know that it's not worth going back to disordered eating behaviors just to be in that smaller body, but that doesn't make me like my current one. Anyway, I started looking into cosmetic surgery procedures, mainly liposuction, and honestly, it seems like the best of both worlds. I can maintain my recovery and have a body I'm happy with. So, the 2 questions are, number 1, do you think all people who get cosmetic surgery purely for aesthetic or vanity reasons have a mental issue?
No.
Number 2, how would you help someone improve their body image? Thanks, Anonymous.
Okay.
I like this question.
Jacob
I do
was quick
too.
on that one.
Yeah, Jacob.
I just think the answer to the first one's no.
I agree.
I don't have anything else. I think I don't think everybody who gets cosmetic surgery has body issues.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
Not all people, for sure.
No.
No, I like that question though, because I have been, on Reddit, they throw out random like threat or subreddits to you sometimes. But one that I started looking at a lot over the last few months is plastic surgery, just because I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So looking at what people want to do, a lot of people will post on there like, hey, I don't like the way my chin looks. Should I do filler or a chin implant or what are my options? And then everyone will like chime in. But what I think is really interesting from watching that subreddit, and you have to be careful because some people will be like, you're beautiful, you don't need that. And then the mods will be like, no, you can't.
That's
do
not what
that.
we're talking
That's not
about.
what the point
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
They're asking, they're not asking if they should get plastic surgery. They're asking,
Right.
what would you do?
Yeah.
if they're going to get it.
If I'm getting plastic surgery anyway,
Right.
what do you suggest? Yeah.
But in this subreddit and in the 30 plus skincare subreddit that I follow, it's interesting how sometimes it does seem like things get distorted when we're talking about our body image, what our skin should look like when we're looking at things like social media and these super high def televisions nowadays. You know what? I've been rewatching.
4K is ruining everybody.
Oh my gosh. Peter just told me this today. I was rewatching Gossip Girl today, and the old one from like 2007 to 2012 or whatever it is. And he sat down for a minute. And
Don't
he's
talk
like,
down to us about Gossip Girl. We know when Gossip Girl
I'm
was
like,
on
I
the
know,
air.
I see the blank stares. I see the blank stares. But Peter sat down and he's like, wow. I mean, these people are like the same age as me. So they're like 21, 22, 23, like young people. And they have lines. They have skin texture you can see on our television now that like you couldn't see back then. But it's just interesting. He's like, wow, you can actually just see like their facial expressions and they look like normal people, or like, you know, how people.
Yeah, if you go back just a little bit and find any, certainly anything pre like 98, 97 in that neighborhood, and then you find stuff that's been redone as high def, don't start looking at people's teeth. Because every performer, every actor now, virtually every actor, of course there are exceptions, but virtually every actor now that you've heard of now has perfect teeth.
Oh,
they not only have perfect skin, but they have perfect teeth.
Perfect teeth, yes.
When you're on like the Mary Tyler Moore show and people are watching it over an antenna, it didn't fucking matter.
No, it's just what is your
like
smile?
you had teeth,
like,
right?
You have teeth.
That was it. That was the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think the answer definitely is no. I don't think all people who get plastic surgery purely for aesthetic or vanity reasons have a mental issue. But it's a good question to present because it's like, where is that line? I'm not saying I know it, but it's interesting to look at how our mindset shifts when we're faced with that every day, and struggling with something like recovering from an eating disorder has got to be so difficult in today's day and age to sort of overcome and get through. And I mean, if I take a second and think about it, I don't know a single person, male or female, that has said, I love my body.
Sure.
Like I don't know that person, at least in my age
Peter
group.
doesn't write that in your Valentine's Day card?
I love my body.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing. I'm like, his body?
Dear Whitney.
Hey, Whitney.
I love my body.
I love my body.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Hearts.
Peace.
No, it's everyone. It's like, oh, you know, even if you're a guy, I don't like my calves. Like I've heard that from a guy or whatever. It's like, or my whatevers are overworked and like, I don't know. It's just, it's tough out there.
It is. And this is a great question because your first point about like, does everybody who gets, cosmetic surgery have a mental issue? Well, of course not. But I can appreciate why you ask, right?
Oh, yeah.
I get that too.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate also what a very unique situation a person finds themselves in. And Ryder, I'm really proud of you for thinking out loud about this, because when you know that you have historically struggled with probably body dysmorphia and really difficult self-image, and you've gone through a recovery journey where you've stopped self-harming and restriction and purging and all these other really unhealthy patterns as a way to control your body image and size, and you realize this is a vulnerability of yours. And then you're looking at cosmetic surgery and thinking, okay, this is very mainstream. It is not uncommon. It is increasingly affordable. It can be done in slight ways. I don't have to go like Michael Jackson on this thing. Like I can do very small touch-ups and maybe be happy with it.
Is that what Michael Jackson referred to it as?
I think
touch-ups.
So. I think.
Oh
it's
my
just-
God.
I mean, what he did to the kids.
Oh Lord. Oh wow. Now we have to mark it
There it
explicit.
is.
There it is.
Now we
got
do.
pretty deep. We did really
So
good.
did Michael Jackson.
Damn it!
You
I
walked into that
Into
one.
that.
That was your fault.
That is.
I
on
can't be
me.
blamed for that.
No, that's absolutely not. Just a dog chasing cars, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can appreciate why at this point it's like, well, this is so mainstream. Is this bad for me? And here's my concern. The thing that would give me pause, and where if I could, in a perfect world, be a therapist at this or have you meeting with a therapist, the thing that I want us to reflect on is, if we're going to pursue this, I want to have very clear understandings together of where our lines are. Because this can become...
What is the expectation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen, I would project, just like bulimia didn't solve body dysmorphia, there was always more bulimia to do, right? I worry that can happen here. And I've definitely seen a lot of body chasing in that community where it's like, oh, I got my nose done. Now I need to get my chin done. I got my chin done. Now, and it goes on forever. It's
come
like,
join me in the entertainment community.
Oh my! I bet you have insane stories.
It's just all of it.
I mean, it can
so
really
sad.
be an endless chase.
There's
and
some
that's
of
where I
the
get
fillers that don't break down in your body, but they migrate, though.
That's like all of them, I think.
So like some of the lip fillers and things like that, like they migrate down into your neck. And so people who do a lot of lip filling, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I might be talking out of my ass here. But
what you've heard from
this is what I've been told by people who do these procedures.
Is that also a procedure?
Well, yes.
Talking out your ass?
What's the result of a procedure? But yeah, it's like all of a sudden, people's necks start getting very smooth because the filler from their lips is traveling down into their
where
necks.
the wrinkles are and it's filled them out.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like it gets into weird stuff. So I mean, that's it. What Jim is saying is make sure that you are very educated about this.
Yeah.
This can be a real life altering path to go down for good or for bad.
Well, and it's extremely tricky because, and I think any therapist that sits with you is going to want to follow our ethical code that very much includes autonomy and wanting to give you the right to choose what you believe looks right for you and what is beautiful to you. And not subjecting this to polling of like, how do we all feel about it? And let's make fun of this celebrity who went too far. Like if that celebrity feels that they're beautiful and they're comfortable with their choices, fuck me, it's their body. Like I have no right to tell them how they should look. But there is a very delicate balance between your personal autonomy and search for self and a mental illness that you've struggled with. That's very intertwined about how you see yourself. And that's another piece of it. Years ago, Nick probably remembers this, we had, Debbie Schofield. If you go into our I think it's main show, I don't even think it's hidden in the Patreon, you can search Debbie Schofield. And she is a Las Vegas eating disorders counselor. And one of the things that she taught me in that interview was the data that shows how people with eating disorders and body dysmorphia, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they misjudge their weight at like a fundamental level. Like what they are visually seeing is magnified and distorted. And it's fascinating.
The interesting thing that I find about that is that it's not just like someone exaggerates something or someone focuses on their flaws. It's more of like they legitimately see it.
They're not interpreting it wrongly.
Right.
Yeah,
that is how it looks.
That's
Yeah.
And so there's and I
they're
think
not
that's
wrong. It's their reaction to it that is.
I think it's their reality. It's almost kind of like when they look
their
at something,
perception
they
is
see
wrong. And so I think what Debbie had taught us is like
By the way, that was
perception is
episode
wrong
137.
Yeah, it's something like 10 to 15% of body weight is their wrong perception.
Wow.
So they
That's
will
a
be
huge
off in the way
percentage.
they see bodies by about 10 to 15%. And it's like, and then they'll scale and it's like, oh, I don't weigh this much, I weigh this much. That's weird. That scale must be broken. It's like, you really believe that. Like, you just don't know.
And this is the thing that I think is really kind of working in the fitness industry. It's very frustrating because there's people on opposite extremes and both of them are right to some degree.
Right.
And that's the thing that's frustrating but you can't be all the way on one side and still be 100% correct.
Right, of course.
There's this middle ground here that you kind of have to find. And this is kind of where we talk about like using the scale or BMI. And I get that like those are not great measurements for a lot of things.
Sure.
Yeah.
However, it is a measurement that you can use and it can be helpful when we're talking about an eating disorder or bulimia or something like that, where someone has a BMI of like 16 and you're like, okay, that's unhealthy. Like this is, we're very high risk here. So this isn't, and it can kind of help be a way to kind of break through some of that body dysmorphia.
Right. So you have an objective thing to look
Yeah,
to.
there's a number here, and it means something, and again, but you don't want to go too far into that road too, because you can go the opposite extreme where people only focus on
Right.
that, or like when people are losing weight. Like this is something I talk about with a lot of my clients when it comes to like using the scale, and you have to understand that that's one data point,
Right.
and you can't base everything off of one data point because there's so much variability. But I mean, this is also an issue too, not just, I think it's an obvious thing, and it becomes more, it's gotten more attention from when we're talking about women. It's a huge deal for men as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's really interesting is on this continuum of like, what is a healthy mindset to have and what is a non-healthy mindset to have? Because I would agree, I know people who've gotten cosmetic surgery, and I don't think that it's anything that they had an unhealthy perspective, or there was anything they were just like, yeah, I just kind of want to do this one thing. And it's like, okay, cool. And they did it, and then it's fine. There's no big deal. But there are obviously people on the other end of that too, where they're just, it's very
Maybe
unhealthy.
becomes an obsession. Yeah.
But anywhere on this scale, I think you kind of have to figure out where you are on this continuum first before you make any kind of decisions.
Yeah.
One thing that does kind of throw a red flag for me in this is saying, I hate my body. I hate the body I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Okay. That does give me a little bit of pause.
Right.
Because I think it's one thing to be able to say like, you know what, I really like my body. Just this one thing I'd like to change.
Right.
I think that's I would rather hear somebody talk about it that way.
Right.
Than to say, I hate my body and I want to change all these things.
Yeah.
Because we're all different, and we do have to at some point kind of accept what life has handed us.
Sure.
And I think about this, especially again, when we talk about men, because for men, it's a big deal when we talk about, I know a lot of guys at the gym that are like trying to put on lean muscle mass and thinking that like, we're all going to do this and we're all going to look like Arnold.
Right. And
we're not.
No, he was special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very special. And I'm 5'10". If I put on his muscle mass, I'm not going to look anything like him. Okay,
You're gonna look a little silly.
I will. I'll look really odd. And so at some point you kind of have to say like, okay, this is the hand that I'm dealt. Like this is the body I've got. What's the best that I can do with it? And, what are the things that I have that I can appreciate about my body? What are the things that I can enhance? But just learn, you have to start with the point of acceptance, I think, first. Start with the things that you enjoy, the things that you really like. And then from there, you can kind of make some small tweaks here and there based off of kind of what you're wanting to do, as long as you're starting from healthy.
But, this is exactly the question that the writer finishes with is how would you help someone improve their body image? And this is tough.
Yeah.
I think in therapy, we hear this a lot where people will say, also this, and that might not be the thing they show up to therapy for, because obviously they should go to a physical trainer if that's something they're thinking about. But this is something that comes up a lot where it's like you said, Whitney, I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say, oh, but check mark here, I'm crushing it. That's extremely rare.
Yeah.
Usually people will say, this is on my mind, I'm feeling a little bit insecure about myself. These pants don't fit anymore, or I don't like, how my body's aging. And like I'm increasingly aware of that, or whatever's happening, along those lines. Yeah. And it is really tough. And I think as therapists, that is a really hard mountain to cross, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the advice I tend to give to, especially like young women that I work with, is who struggle with these similar issues. And I practice myself because, I mean, like I said, I don't know anyone who's just like, yep. Doing great. Like not a single thing I would change,
Everything's good.
And especially since we're fluctuating a lot too. It's like, even if you are happy for a moment, it's like, all right, well, maybe you ate too much sushi and now you're swollen with soy sauce. But something...
Man, I hate when I agree with Jim.
But something that I try and practice and share with clients is finding a way to sort of what we said earlier, change the thought using kind of CBT techniques where if you have, and I'm not saying you said this, but if a person had like extra, let's say extra squish or fat around like their midsection they didn't like, it's like that represents energy that my body has to keep going. Like shifting what you're thinking about what's going on with your body. So instead of setting the expectation to be, I need to look like these other people on the internet, or I shouldn't have, this is a thing I don't understand. A lot of women talk about like hip dips. I'm like, that's just your body. That's just the way it's shaped. Like, I don't understand. But just accepting like that's just the way my body's shaped. There's a YouTuber I love called Stephanie Lang, and she really emphasizes how to try and love your body. She's like 35. And what she says that I love is a lot of the way we look is part of like our heritage. So when we go in and change things like a nose job or like your jaw structure, or, you know, you're trying to get higher cheekbones, or like a lot of just maybe more facial plastic surgery, she's like, you're kind of taking away from your heritage and where you came from.
That's an
and
interesting
I
point.
thought it was an interesting way to look at it and almost appreciate like the people that came before you, like my grandmother, my great grandmother, like whoever else, or grandfather even.
Right.
like these are things that I'm getting from them. And even if it's like I have bigger hips and like a smaller upper body, if you're a female, like, oh, or like I have no boobs and I wish I could get implants.
Right.
Like whatever's going on there, trying to find a way to appreciate what you have can be so massively helpful. And it may be just like affirmations where you don't always believe them right away.
Yes.
But man, just focusing on that, because it took so many times of telling yourself those negative things to start believing them.
Good point.
You have to do that again to start believing the other thing.
Oh, Whitney, that's, that is exactly true. I love the idea of affirmations. I love that drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like, we're doing that every single time we look in a mirror.
Every time.
Or we see all these celebrities, see all these beautiful people, or God help us, the internet, you know, is constantly just broadcasting everybody's awesome self filtered.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and then you look at your selfies and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to post this. I'm
Also,
gross.
most people, and maybe Nick being in the fitness realm can correct me on this, I feel like what I've been hearing a lot more of lately are these influencers or whoever in this fitness industry that have those just like abs and are lean and ripped and all this stuff, unless they're literally performing like a Cirque show every night or like something insane to keep up with their body. Like, I think they will tell you they're the most miserable they have ever been, usually because their bodies are starving to get to the point where you're in like a fitness show or like whatever. Like to keep trim, you are essentially like
you don't look like that all the time.
Yes.
And then, absolutely. And more and more people are coming out.
That's interesting to
like,
me. I didn't realize that.
And they're really kind of coming out and saying like, hey, like, this is what you see, but this isn't.
It's only a week or two.
Yeah, this isn't
like,
reality even for me.
Yeah.
And they pointed out like
Chris Hemsworth when he's filming a Thor movie.
Yeah.
He looks like that for those couple of days where they are scheduled to film these shirtless scenes.
Oh,
because,
good point. Yeah.
Because what happens?
And then the rest of it, he looks not like a normal person. He's still a very in shape, very attractive person.
Yeah.
But like he looks more. You know, he regresses to the mean a little bit.
It's not going to be extremely ripped.
What they're not telling you is they're not telling you about the terrible migraine headache that they have in that moment,
Right.
Because they haven't had water in 36 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the shit that they're going through in that moment is really tough. And it's miserable too. Like even you know, when they're trying to gain weight and they're trying to put on muscle. Like I can't remember who it was, but one of them was talking about like what did you end up eating? And the guy was like, honestly, because you have to eat every 2 hours.
Right.
Like you have to, I mean, you're taking in like 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day, and you have to eat every 2 hours to maintain that. And one of the actors who was doing this, he basically just started taking chicken breasts and putting it in a blender. And that's what he would just eat.
He's tired of chewing.
Because, exactly. Because it's like, it tastes, there's no way to make it taste good. That's still going to be within the diet.
Chicken
it's
in
just,
a blender.
I'm tired of chewing. I just put it in a blender and that's my meal. And then and so it's miserable. But I think that's the thing too. Like everybody is starting to come out now and start saying like, hey, yeah, this is what I look like on this day when I competed in this competition
Right.
or when I had to film this piece here. As soon as that's over, I'm done and I go back to my normal body.
Right.
You know?
Which
need
still
more
might be
truth.
above average.
Sure, yeah.
But
But
it's-
it's still not going to be
It doesn't
what's
look freakish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean
like
freakish
that.
in like an individual way, not in a
A
necessarily
standout
negative
way.
thing.
Yeah, standout way. No, I love this. And I think this conversation reveals how intuitive this is, how subjective it is, how much mythology there is about this and misrepresentation. And you know, again, to come full circle on this, writer, you have self-identified as somebody who has struggled with this to the point of self-harm, and there has been a mental illness. I would really caution you to start down this path until you've really sat down and talked that through with a therapist and set some boundaries and some goals for how you want to proceed.
I think when you are at peace with your body as it is now, then I think you could look into something like that. If you feel like, you know what, I really like how I am right now, I like how things are going, I think maybe I'd be a little bit more comfortable if I did this procedure.
I see the point.
Fine.
Yeah.
Then
We
I
want
think
you as
that's
close
I think
to that
that's
as
okay.
possible.
Exactly. You know, and I do like the idea of you know, positive affirmations, looking for things that you like, because that's something I do too, is like I see a lot of flaws in my body, but I always have to compliment or, you know, think of like, you know what, I don't like my legs. I don't like my calves.
I told you, oh guys, it's a calves thing.
Well, I look like Johnny Bravo. Like, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, like, it's so easy.
It's mainly the haircut.
Here's the thing.
Sunglasses.
This is the other thing, too. It's not simply because I work hard on my upper body and I neglect my legs. I work really hard on my legs, but for whatever reason, my body just wants to put on weight
Right.
up on my shoulders
What the
and my
genetics
chest
wanna
and my
do.
back.
Yeah.
According to
That's just what
yourself, how you
happens.
look in the
Like,
mirror, right?
yeah.
I'll tell you
And
what,
so
my
it's,
legs look exactly the same as they did in high school.
Yeah.
Like same, less muscle on them for
Smooth
sure
as
than when
a
I was.
baby's bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
When I
very
was like working
As a
out all the
laser
time in
hair.
high school and playing sports and everything, like definitely more muscle on them. But like size and general shape, it has made no difference in the last 25 years. How my legs look. I can work out. I can do leg day every day. That's how big my legs are.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And sometimes that's the reality. So,
Yeah.
you know, I agree with how we have to approach this by challenging distortions, asserting affirmations and being proactive with that, being transparent, having accountability partners like a therapist in our lives, preferably one that specializes in eating disorders, but also has a good amount of empathy and understanding and grants you that autonomy to really sort this out for yourself. But writers, so many people relate to this. And again, we're not taking a negative view on cosmetic surgery.
No.
It is a valid life choice, as are tattoos and body art and any other alteration people choose for themselves. I'm not against any of it. But I just want to make sure that if we know we have a mental health vulnerability in that field, we're being extra careful with it.
Yeah.
I think that's just being responsible,
Yeah.
which you clearly are.
Yeah.
You're asking great questions.
And I want you to really dig into the research of it. I want you to figure out
Yeah.
you know, what can go wrong, how likely that is to go wrong. And I don't mean like big catastrophic things.
Sure, but
Like
knowing
I know
the
people
odds.
who have gone in for liposuction
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they come out and it looks like nothing has changed at all. And they've gone in for major rounds of liposuction. And just the way their body is.
Yeah.
And you know, and in most of these cases, a doctor has said to them at some point, I'm not sure if this is going to give you the result you're looking for. They press on with it anyway.
Sure.
I was going to say that I had a friend go through lipo and they told me, and they worked out, it was just like one little problem area. And she ended up telling me, she said the recovery for it was way harder than she thought.
Yeah.
And was like, if I knew what I knew now,
It
doing
affects
it again.
more parts of your body than you realize. It's not just that
Yes.
one little area,
Yeah.
or
It
like where
looks-
the incision is.
Yeah.
It's not just where the incision is that the trauma happens within your body while you're getting liposuction.
Yeah, it would surprise me to hear her say that. She was like, I don't think I'd do it again knowing the recovery it took.
Yeah.
And I
a
mean,
lot
I'm
that
not
goes
trying to
into
affect your decision, but that's something I would not
Just
have done.
educate yourself.
It just
about it.
it looks like everyone does it. So it's like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
jump in,
Assume
jump
it's
out.
entirely benign.
yeah.
But a lot of times they're hiding their recovery times and they're just showing you the result because that was the whole damn point. Why
Yeah.
show you all the icky parts?
Yeah.
I was trying to get to the look at me in my swimsuit part.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But no, really great advice all around. Writer, please continue to work on this. Love that you're asking this question out loud. Love that you invited us in that conversation. So many people relate to this, and I love that we're just talking about it now and being honest. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about sci-fi shame. You're listening
Jim
to
wrote this
Pod
one in.
Therapy. I should have.
100%.
I should have.
Today's episode is brought to you,
You
by
deserve it.
Smitty Scoop,
Shit on for
Nathan's
years.
Hot Dog Scoop, Mason Miller, Tess Miller, Byler T, Paris, Team Monaco, Oscar Swan Roast, and Hannah Marie. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
Let's continue
Here we
Jim's
go.
onslaught.
All
Cameo Price is Right rules.
Oh,
Mark McGrath, singer of Sugar
oh,
Ray.
Sugar Ray.
Jim, I think you're up.
He's worth some bucks. I'm gonna say he's going for $350.
Oh, that's exactly where I was about to be. 351.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just want Jim to not get this point. Actually, that's my quest from now on. Is just to make sure Jim doesn't get any more
I
points.
know,
Honestly,
there
you
we
should be
go.
going defense. You
Yeah.
should take 349.
No, I think
Well, no,
it's
you
more.
can only get 350 right now.
Oh,
If it's 350
Yeah.
on the nose, like, you get that.
oh,
which it
'cause
might
it's
be.
closest without
Yeah,
going
with
over.
Jim's
Yeah, I
history,
gotcha.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. I'm gonna say 500.
Okay, she goes for the high.
No one gets the point.
Damn
Ooh,
it.
we're all
Is
over.
under.
$90.
All right.
Boy,
I'm so
that's cheap.
surprised.
Discount.
Honestly,
Let's call it.
Way to go,
I
McGrath.
have $90.
That's
You
the
guys
next
want to get fucking
Valentine's Day.
Sugar Ray to
yeah.
say something? I mean,
Yes.
For Pod
I think that's a
Therapy.
really good idea.
Then
Yeah.
can we get rid of Dr. Drew
No.
on our Twitter? I wanna know
I'll
why
only
that's
say
still-
yes if you'll get rid of Dr. Drew.
All right. Yeah, fuck it. Let's get
Fuck
Sugar
it.
Ray.
All right.
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Then
And
I'm
let's
fine
get
with
him to
it.
just do the exact same endorsement.
Give him the same script.
Hi, I'm Dr. Drew.
I am Dr. Drew.
All right.
Actually, I'm more in favor now.
Okay. All right. Jacob, you're up. Kevin Sorbo
Hercules.
Oh, fuck Kevin
from Hercules
Sorbo.
and a bunch of Christian
What a
movies.
dude.
Yeah,
And-
he's like super
Super-
right wing,
yeah,
super like
annoying.
ultra weird
He
conservative
had
Christian.
like some weird ass movie where he's like an atheist professor, like because that's the
Yeah,
beginning
that
of
was
every
God's Not
Christian
Dead.
Yeah,
anecdote.
our favorite
God's Not
movie.
Dead.
Favorite movie.
Oh man,
I would honestly do that with you guys as like
Okay.
a great drinking movie.
All
That
right,
sounds
we
All
have
right,
we
next
have
time.
Nick's
We-
rules.
I
the
think
little-
Kevin Sorbo is going to come in at $65.
Okay.
20.
Yeah, that needs to be more like 20.
I mean, it needs to be free.
I
It needs
think
to be like anybody who wants a video of me can have a video of me.
he
feel like
is
saying 21
pretentious
is
enough.
gonna be-
I think it's going to be higher.
That's the thing.
I'm going to go
yeah.
100.
Okay,
Okay. And you said what?
I said 65.
65,
65.
Yeah, 65.
Jacob gets it. It's $80.
On the board.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, Kevo.
Okay.
All right.
Whitney.
Okay.
Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC.
Oh.
Who?
How much would I pay?
Yeah. For one night with him, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Oh, this is one night for each of these people.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
should've
yeah.
said
This
that.
is sex, right?
Yeah.
This is always sex.
How much was Kevin
Chris
Sorbo?
80 bucks.
80 bucks.
Right.
Yeah. That's with tip, though.
Seems right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the tip
Yeah,
is
and
involved.
Chris
The tip is involved.
Kirkpatrick. He's the
All
one with
the
the little
tip.
dreads, right? Or the braids, whatever
don't
it
know.
was. I'm gonna say.
Look at Nick playing dumb.
Tell you what I want, whatever. Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
not got a poster
He's
of him
doing the
on a
NSYNC
ceiling.
dance.
And Jim is singing Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Tell you what I want. Whatever.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with 65.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
I'm gonna go with 69.
I'm gonna go with 70.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Jacob is on the board with 2 now.
Damn.
Was it 70?
100.
179.
God damn it.
Damn.
Yeah.
This defensive strategy.
All right, Jim. Tommy Chong.
Who's that?
Oh, Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
He's the Chong in Cheech and Chong.
Makes sense. That checks
Yeah.
out.
Be weird if he was the Cheech.
Yeah, that would be.
This is gonna be tough.
He has like his own weed company and everything now.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
I'll
also
bet you this
checks
is
out.
not for endorsements. It's just gonna be for quick hellos.
That's what most of these are.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Penn's on there, but Penn specifically says I will not do any business endorsements.
Right.
I'm gonna say 130.
131.
God damn
132.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay!
Whitney got it.
I finally got
150.
two.
150.
Ah,
Okay, last one for this round.
fucked.
Jacob, I think it's you.
I really like just keeping Jim from getting a point. I like this game a lot.
Okay. I
have no idea how many points I have.
I don't know. You got two. I don't know how to pronounce this last name. Mackenzie Doithit from MTV's Teen Mom.
Okay.
Okay. Was she a mom or is she a host or what is she?
never know.
You have all
Child?
the information I have.
Okay.
Almost all the information.
Except
Yeah.
for the number.
Oh, what is her number?
Yep.
All right.
This has to be low.
85.
Ooh. You think she's
I
outplaying
was gonna say
Sorbo?
50.
Okay.
Sorbo money, man. Would you say 50?
50, yeah.
I'm
50.
going to take 45.
I think she's a reality show star and has a large opinion of herself.
Yeah.
You're all
It was
over
like
35
I almost said 20. but
I
was
did
like,
not give enough credit to that person whose name I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. All
All
right.
right.
I got 5 more. We'll do those after.
Who's
All
in the
right.
lead? Can we get a count?
No,
on
we
this?
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You are.
That feels right.
I feel like yeah,
Sci-Fi.
even though we blocked you out on that round, I think
Yeah.
you're still winning.
Still got the lap on you.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Shame from Nerd. Hello, Pod Therapy gang. I'm in my mid-40s and always still holding on to the guilt of reading my guilty pleasure of sci-fi books. And not just sci-fi, but Star Wars and Star Trek fiction. Rationally, I know just reading is a good thing, and these types of books are no different than a romance novel or other fiction. But I still feel guilty, like I should be reading nonfiction, or at least the classics, instead of this fluff. I guess I just need to hear from a professional it's okay to read whatever I want, and there is no requirement it has to be a literal classic, and there is no more book overload judging me on my, or overlord judging me on my taste. Or is there? Thanks, Nerd.
I'll judge if you want me to.
Mark Nerd, you can
Let
read
me
whatever
know.
you want.
Yep.
Mark Twain said the classics are the books we all talk about and nobody has read. And I believe that's
That
true.
is so
Mark
true.
Twain said a lot of dumb things too.
His death was
That's
greatly
all right. We don't remember those.
exaggerated.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I if you want a professional to tell you didn't say what kind of professional.
That's right.
I'll
There we
tell
go.
you can read anything you damn well want.
Yeah.
I exclusively read sci-fi. Exclusively. Like it's my whole audiobook
Like
library.
I know people who read exclusively just nonfiction. They're always reading research stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
One genre that I see more and more these days, and like I don't connect to it at all, does not appeal to me, but it seems really popular, historical fiction.
Mhm.
Oh
I've seen
yeah.
that all the
That
time. Like
is-
World War II romances.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all these really like
There was a
I like
run
those.
Popular
on
right now.
historical fiction movies for a little while.
Yes.
Like, there were several movies that tried to do that. There was
Patriot.
And TV shows.
like
Patriot.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter,
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was great.
Pride,
my
Prejudice,
And you know
and
how
Zombies.
it finishes? Oh,
We
it
have a movie
finishes
buff
with
over
Barack Obama becoming the next vampire hunter.
Great.
Fucking cool.
Spoiler alert, by
Yeah.
the way.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry
I
everyone.
was just going to watch that later tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man. And Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Yeah.
Another great film. What's your genre? You seem like a nonfiction guy to me, Nick. I don't even think you read.
When I read?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
think you like to read the glossary.
I
of
always
terms
have-
at the back of a medical
No,
book.
I
Reads an
always
appendix.
have. I usually have like 2 books that are kind of going at the same time. I always have a nonfiction and a fiction.
Can I guess what your nonfiction is?
Sure.
Something golf related.
Yes.
Ah.
Not always.
Can I guess what your fiction
Not
is?
always. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's it's like
That's the real trivia today.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Just kind of depends.
Golf,
like,
but it's the Kama Sutra.
no, but yeah, the book I'm reading right now is the 4 Foundations of Golf.
Okay.
So, but the nonfictions I enjoy, I love the Dan Brown series. The Da Vinci Code.
Oh my
all of those
gosh!
books.
I read the Angels and Demons
Angels
like
and
years ago,
Demons,
and I was like, "This is so good."
The
I felt
Lost
so
Symbol
dorky.
Origin was a
Yeah.
really good one.
So those are like whodunits.
Those are all fiction.
Yes.
crimey novels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're
I
kind of
like-
thriller.
I
Yeah.
like the thriller aspect, but the thing that I also like about those is I like that it takes place in a real place.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah.
like Da Vinci Code was all
Right.
around all
The
these,
Louvre.
and
Yeah.
every one of his books is like
you have
that.
frames of reference that you can bring to the book
Yeah.
that help you think about the clues and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, those I really enjoy.
Okay.
And I've been trying to find other books that are kind of in the same spirit and same kind of genre and all that.
It's interesting how the setting of these books really matters. I mean, for not just plot and all these other things, but establishing the rules of the book you're about to read. Like this, the writer talks about sci-fi. That's one of the biggest problems of sci-fi. Well, not problems, but just first obstacles of sci-fi is you have to figure out in this universe, what are their rules?
Yeah, that's the thing I struggle
Yeah.
with sci-fi.
Because they won't have, like, that's the difference between fantasy and sci-fi is fantasy, magic's going to be a feature.
Yeah.
In sci-fi, you can't use magic, so it's going to have some kind of science component. But everything can change. If they have a faster than light transportation, then this can take place outside of the solar system now. We can go to all sorts of fancy places. Or if you're reading a book that they can't go faster than light, they can just go at normal speeds. But they're colonizing planets. Like, okay, so the book is going to have a war between Mars and Venus, but you have to realize it takes like 8 months to send an armada from one to the other. Like, that's going to change all the realities of the book, where the war takes place and what can actually happen. And it's a lot of rules.
The other thing about the classics is because I kind of went down that kick too, where I'm like, I should read, these are classic books. I should
Right.
read these. And I kind of went into it with the idea that like, okay, well, they're classics, so I should like all of them. And I don't.
Oh, they're
like
garbage.
some of them I really enjoyed.
What is one of your favorite classics?
Slaughterhouse 5 I really enjoyed.
I've never read it because that name grosses me out.
Oh.
But everybody talks about
Oh,
it.
it is a really good book.
Kurt Vonnegut.
What was the other the Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises. I loved that book. I thought that was a really good one. But like I also read Fahrenheit 451.
That's a good one.
Oh, I hated it.
I liked it.
I did not.
Did you
I
burn
just, Yeah.
I mean, that's the right way.
Oh,
to
is that what that book's about?
Yeah, see, that's what gets you. A lot of time. If it was in Celsius, I think
Yeah.
you'd like it.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
do Calvin only. That's
Yeah.
why I didn't like the book.
Why didn't you
so.
like it?
I
Or
don't
like,
know.
is it like
I
a
just-
theme thing,
it
or
was-
the wriing, or like?
I couldn't put my finger on it exactly.
close
I
to
was just
home.
kind of. I was.
The Midwest.
No, I don't know. There's just something about it. I just couldn't really kind of get into it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Jacob, what kind of books do you like? Biographies
I was about to say I'm looking through my my book list on my phone right now.
Porn.
There is a lot of a shocking amount of porn, even to me.
It's just Steve Martin reading erotica.
Yeah, that is
my whole genre.
It is a lot of that. It's a Steve Martin impersonator. I couldn't afford Steve Martin. I mean, I do have a lot of memoirs and biographies in here. I'm reading one right now called Diary of a Misfit. Shout out to Diary of a Misfit by Casey Parks, who is an old friend of mine, and I've gotten around to reading her book here, which is small part novel, mostly memoir / biography of another person as well. It's kind of a complicated genre, honestly. But yeah, I'm looking through my list here. I've got The Warmth of Other Suns, which is a book about immigration.
Wow.
I haven't started that one yet, but I'm looking for that one's next on my list. The Last Lion. Let's see. I've got Prince, The Beautiful Ones, which I haven't read yet.
Oh.
That's coming up on my list here. It's a biography of Prince. Let's see. There's a
God, I
Howard
can't
Stern
think.
book that he's just
That's
going through
biography
different
I read.
interviews. So I guess, yeah, mostly nonfiction, but there's definitely some fiction in here as well. Like I'm scrolling past Neil Gaiman, American Gods right now.
Okay.
So yeah, like there's some stuff in there as well that's on there. Oh, Billy Crystal. His
that's
book is in
probably
here.
good. I bet that's good.
He's got a good book. Yep, still fooling him.
I like that. Whitney, would you listen to or read any fiction?
Oh, I do have
read.
Steve Martin's book in here too.
I don't know how to read.
What were you gonna say, Nick? I feel like you were gonna
Go
jump in.
I got another book, but go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. My favorites are definitely like what Nick was saying, the kind of Dan Brown type suspense or mystery.
Okay.
I love that, and so that will just keep like the pages turning. I won't sleep until I finish it.
I like coloring books.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
ones are good.
Those are good. Not a lot of reading,
Not
but
as much.
less reading. I also like kind of self-improvement books, if they're good. So like Atomic Habits is one I started recently, but it's because I need it. I need the structure of someone else saying, hey, have you tried this?
I struggle with that. And so like this comes up all the time because, that's one of the number one things patients will ask us, say, oh my God, this book's really changing my life right now. Or,
oh, that's hard when they say it and you're like, I want to relate to you, but like, I don't want to read that book.
But it's tough because they'll be like, have you read this? It's like an industry leading book.
Yes.
And I'll be like, no. And they'll be like, I thought you were good at this. It's
I
like,
know.
Believe it or not, it was not on any of my reading lists in my master's or doctorate.
Yeah.
So enjoy your New York Times bestseller. I don't give a fuck.
What's worse, when you say, no, I haven't read it, or yeah, I read it?
I always say no because I haven't, and then but I get away with it, and people like accept this about me because I quickly give that disclaimer of like, it isn't the author, it isn't the book. I read sci-fi. That is it.
I still read.
If you were a professional carpenter, I don't think you'd come home and look forward in your recreational time to reading more books about carpentry. You'd have them on the shelf as a reference,
yeah.
right? But that's not how you want to spend your off hours. And for me, I want to escape into sci-fi. I don't want to continue to think about psychology. Or when I do, I read hard textual books on psychology.
Yeah.
I'm not reading anything on the New York Times bestsellers. If it was popular enough to reach all of America with one usually kind of generic message that just a very popular person has said very eloquently and is touching everybody's mind right now, that's not going to be deeply research driven and the kind of stuff that, I would benefit from in my profession.
Yeah.
Unless there's like cool, like cliches. Nick and I tried to do a book club several times.
I was just going to say I have a therapist book club right now that
Are you in one?
We meet like every 3 months. So it's enough that
It's better than Nick and I ever did.
Oh.
We've
That's
failed
sad.
that test several times.
Yeah.
But that does help
Maybe
me
you
read.
should talk to someone.
Oh, okay.
No. We didn't try to. I read it. You didn't.
I knew
read
that's
it.
how that was
We
gonna
interviewed
go.
the fucking author.
This is a
and he
high
didn't
school
even
group
read the book.
project. Perfect example of high school group project.
Oh my
Nick
gosh.
did all the work. And then we interviewed the lady and I just coasted off whatever he said.
You're like, yeah, Nick, what else?
And
did
I was
you
like, you're going to
stick
take
out
the
to
lead.
you?
And he's like actually quoting pages from the book and she's like chiming in. I'm like, and then this other thing. And I'd be like dead fucking wrong. And Nick would like reel me back in and like redirect and try to save me. It was great.
I do want to say I had a client not long ago who basically was coming to the realization that someone close to them was almost like shaming them for wanting to read like romance novels or something in their spare time. And so we had a discussion about that. So it's funny when this question popped up, I was like, oh, that is not uncommon.
I do shame my spouse for the cheesy Hallmark bullshit.
Okay.
And you know what? That's needing to happen. That's important.
It's interesting that I think as I've gotten older, I've kind of taken a completely different, my stance on all this has completely changed. Like, and I guess I just feel like life is so short that do whatever brings you pleasure.
Yes.
Right.
Whatever books you want to read, whatever movie.
Your brain
And
is
also-
still working and
Exactly.
imagining things.
And even like I have this stance with music too. I used to say like, oh, I can't stand this type of music.
Yeah.
And
Pop.
I've stopped saying that.
Yeah.
Because
there's good shit out there.
Yeah, because honestly, it's like all I can really say is this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. But if other people like it, then listen to it. Like if it brings you joy, then go
There's
do
also
it.
like whatever genre you say, like, oh, this music genre, I hate this music genre. Like I can find a song in that genre that you're gonna dig.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But that's just it.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, something I can appreciate.
Right.
Like country music. I'm not a country music guy. I don't really like it.
But you love honky
yeah.
tonk badonky donk.
Who doesn't?
Darius Rucker.
With writing like that. No, Wagon Wheel. Darius Rucker,
Yeah.
Wagon
there you
Wheel.
go.
That is a great
Yeah,
song.
honky tonk badonky donk is Trace
Holy
Atkins.
shit.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like any type of music like
Our
that.
country music
when
fans were
somebody
just
when
furious
somebody
with you.
puts in the work
No,
and they've got the creativity
Hootie and the
and they
Blowfish.
develop it and they put all that work into it, I really appreciate it. I can just
Yeah.
say it's not
Yeah.
for me, but I really
It
appreciate
might not
it.
be my jam, but I respect the art. But if you're out there and you're like, I want to try sci-fi, try the book Dune.
I was going to ask if you read Dune.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I have to watch the
Dune
first
is-
part of the movie because the,
Oh my
the
gosh.
new movie
the
is coming
second
out
half
next
is
month.
coming out with Timothée Chalamet. And if you want to catch up on that trend and you're like, you know what, I don't think I like sci-fi, but sometimes I feel like I want to be a
I'm
part of
probably
it.
not going to read the book,
I-
but I'll
I have
watch
a
the
Super
movie.
good audiobook.
I have a book I've recommended
Oh, that's
to you.
true. I can do an audiobook.
Easy book. Yeah,
Yeah.
easy audio and a great
I can
story.
throw the audiobook on in the
I've
car. That's true.
recommended this book to you at least twice, and I'm going to recommend it to you one more
Fatherly
time.
advice?
No.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Dad Vice.
The Story of God
Oh, yeah.
by Chris Matheson. He was the writer of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh,
And what he did is he rewrote the Old Testament. Or no, I'm sorry, it's the whole Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, but wrote it like it's just a book.
Okay.
And he stuck to the story.
Oh, he
that's
just wrote it out.
incredible.
Yeah, and he just wrote it out, but he
Okay.
wrote it like a book.
Okay.
Even with all the stories in there.
And there was stuff reading, and there's like, that didn't happen.
And then you,
And
like,
he
there's a
cites it.
citation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I guess that
And
is a
there's
part of
so
this.
For those of you who think that didn't happen, it's right on
It
this
did.
page.
Yeah.
It did.
But it's so when you take it and then you put it in that context, it's hilarious. It
I'll
is
bet it
so
is.
funny.
Good book recommendations. Therapals, if you'd like to, on
I
this
need
episode.
some book recommendations for
Yeah,
the mystery
dump those
genre.
book recommendations.
Yeah, or
we
suspense.
have like a question of the day that pops up on the Discord every day.
Oh,
And
okay.
there was one not too long ago of like a book that was important to you or formative. And I loved seeing all the answers. And there were some really great recommendations on there. And so, yeah. I think the one that really changed my life was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Aw.
That really helped.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with
Everybody
sci-fi.
poops.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Everybody poops.
My problem with sci-fi is that, or anything fantasy, really, I should just say fantasy more than sci-fi, but is, I have a hard time remember if the whole language is made up or
Oh,
the names
sure,
are
yeah.
unfamiliar. Like
Yeah,
I tried to
who's who.
start reading, Game of Thrones, like way back in
Okay.
2012. I was like, all right, I'm going to read this thing and
Yeah.
see. I got like 3 chapters in and I was like, what is this, a place or a name or what is this
Right.
word? I got to go reread.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not me.
I'm
It's not for
huge
me.
on audiobooks just because I can just do them passively while I'm doing other things, so I don't have to like sit down and occupy myself with
Oh
it.
my
Yeah.
gosh. How's
But
your
one of
brain
the-
not traveling
I
while you
love
listen?
it. It's great.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I multitask, but
Oh.
like I think I'm probably ADHD, so it kind of works.
Okay.
But like one of the things that's best about it is the voice acting. So like the characters,
Okay.
you remember them because they have a distinct accent or something that goes with them, or it's an entirely different actor
Oh.
playing that voice.
It's not just someone reading it.
It's
they
like
actually...
a radio play.
Oh,
a lot of the
I
time.
like that.
There's
okay.
a lot. If you're ever into Audible or like Libby, so
Libby
there's
is what I use.
Libby.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of them now that are professionally produced where there's different actors playing
Oh, that's
all
cool.
the voices.
Okay.
Like I read this really good sci-fi book called The 3-Body Problem, and it's written by a Chinese author, and all the characters are Chinese, and so their names are super unfamiliar to me and were really difficult. But because I had it on Audible, every character had their own voice, and the way they said the names was super clear. My brain would always remember it.
Yeah.
I recommended it to my college roommate, and he was like, "Bro, I had to stop reading halfway through. Like I couldn't keep track of who was who."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you need a people to read it to you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
you
just
need
like
a
you were
people to
little
read it to
kid
you.
in story times.
Yeah.
No shame in your game, nerd.
No.
Go out, read more books. Everybody should read Dune. It's a
Yeah.
really good book. As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that if you sign up at patreon.com/therapy, you can get the extended show ad-free a day early, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. This week is an interview with me and a master's student who's becoming a therapist, who had to interview me for a paper that they were writing.
I
And
thought
so
you were going
we
to
covered a
read them
bunch of
about what
questions.
grad school's like.
No. Yeah, I tried to scare them away.
What's a real grad school like?
Tell you what it's really like. Say about the Liberty Flames. But yeah, so that's up there now. We publish every Monday, so all that content goes up there. It becomes quite the library of really great stuff. And we've got some new people to welcome to the Theraparty. Who's joining us?
We've got
Nick?
some new theropods.
Yes.
Welcome to Burnt Toast.
That's awesome.
And welcome to What Does Scoop Mean? And
Good name.
James S.
Also a good name. I like that name, James. And we want to thank TheraPartners, the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much that they give till it hurts. Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. And of course, we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the TheraProducers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley, Slappin' Ya Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpy Kaye, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. I want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. It's /PodTherapy on Facebook. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Jim.
I'm Whitney.
Thanks, and we'll see you for appointment next week.
I always think you're saying fragrantly.
I probably am.
Instead, no, you aren't. But I just, in my mind, the fragrantly.
Well, if there's one thing I'm known for on the show, it's articulating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, widely celebrated as a
Yeah.
person whose
All right.
dialect is correct.
Last 5.
All right.
Here we go.
Fast.
I think Whitney's up, right?
No. Yes.
This is about
Yes.
to
I'm going to
pass
say
out.
yes, just
Okay.
because I want to.
Here we go.
And I think I think she was first on the last question.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Jim.
Yeah, I think
Let's
so.
do it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Scott Stapp,
Who's that?
the singer from Creed.
Oh,
Can you turn
I'm going to go 75.